This is Comic Glick.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason. What do you have on tap today?
Well, it's like, about a month ago, we talked about the first entry in the Energon universe, um, like like universe of storytelling that includes Transformers, GI Joe, and Robert Kirkman's Void Rivals series, which John and I talked about, and we thought that was fine, but it kind of just didn't offer any real surprises, or real imaginative storytelling that we were hoping for this kind of thing. I mean, John, it's like, am I right here?
Yep. it's definitely a precursor volume and not I mean it's one of those things just setting things up. That's how I see it.
Yeah, though it's interesting to see that like the storytelling that they're trying to emphasize through the shared universe, like the Energon universe of storytelling. Well, it actually does have some relevance here because now we've got the first volume of Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson, and this is like I've not followed Transformers comics like ever, even though I've heard that a lot of the IDW stuff is supposed to be really quite good, but at the same time though, it's like like the level of the amount of comics that they've published there has just been honestly too overwhelming for me to just to follow for this for this podcast. Like in terms of just in terms of like if there's no outside demand for me to tackle this, and I've gotten I look at this and go like, man, this is like way too big. Then it's like we're not going to go ahead and I do that though. I heard that it's worth checking out, and maybe someday I will get around to it. But now, hey, you just got like one Transformers comic to follow, and John, like I think that's like pretty manageable. I mean, like you're here, right?
Yep, I am.
Yeah,
Yep, it is. It is manageable. And that's well, it's nice to be here from the beginning, and I can't say that I've ever followed the IDW. One day I will undertake it, but it's a massive library now, and that's kind of my disadvantage. And not disparaging anything, and I recognize some of um, the nuances and how creative that series got in expanding that particular branch of the Transformers universe, we'll say. But this is going to be an interesting thing to watch for several reasons I'll get into later.
yeah. It's like, and so hey, it's like if you want us to talk about the IDW stuff, I mean, let us know. But also, it's like not until we get some soft cover compendiums, collecting all the stuff they did in chronological order or best reading order for that matter. That being said, though, it's like the Transformers like relaunch via Skybound as part of the Energon universe has been a resounding success. Initially, it attracted like 150,000 orders for for the first issue, and like these issues have just been, and that those reviewers just added to that, you know like many times over. It's like as things have gone on. Like this is not just standard comic book stuff hype. Like the Energon universe is a genuine hit. It's like, and like reading Transformers comic from Daniel Warren Johnson. It's like I can understand why. I mean, it's like Johnson. It's like for me, is like one of my favorite creators. One guy who's like whatever he does, like I will go ahead and follow him to there. It's like he is like easily one of the best artists in it's like in comics in terms of just the way he can just describe action, showcase it on the page. It's like, and just like get it to like cover the bridge to what he's telling. His best work, in my opinion, has been Murder Falcon, which is basically an ode to like the power of metal that that I thought was like one of the best comics of the year. It's like that was released. I mean, I even sent it to John as like one of his Christmas gifts. When I it's like it's like a while back, but it's but he's but like that he's now doing Transformers. It's like okay, hey, I'm there. It's like, man, I'm not. not having like follow Transformers comics beforehand. Well, I am now because hey, Daniel Warren Johnson is like writing and drawing. This the first six issues like of the series that are in this first volume. And what do we get for this first volume? Well, I imagine that it's going to be very familiar to a lot of longtime Transformers fans. Longtime Transformers fans, like John, right?
Yes, and no. Indeed. So, I mean, there's yeah, when you look at it, um you're definitely reminded of it, and I can tell you that there are several areas where you can pick up on certain themes. So, this comes out being really a lot of nods to things, and then a lot of changes in the way things are. And I'm not, and some things you could say, uh, so you have to take when you think about Transformers, um, you have to take the original G1 cartoon because essentially that's where it was at. The original Marvel comics, and there's a lot of concepts that were set up in that, which are still being kind of even homage today.
Mm-hmm.
But it not, I mean, just to give you an idea, some of those Marvel comics right now, I think the famous cover, where it says that, it's like Shockwave and just says, it's the cover. It says
Transformers are all
are
dead.
all dead. Like they made Hasbro made a limited edition just recently of that with that cover and a toy that goes with it. So it's
Man, that's crazy because like the guy who did that, Mark Bright, aka MD Bright or Doc Bright, he just passed away earlier this year.
yeah, and there might be some honorable no, well, not honorable mention, but so a little bit of a tribute to it. But I didn't notice that in it. However, I might be wrong on that. Regardless, there's a whole like he comes with some accessories that kit comes not just with that toy, but it comes with like some accessories that mirror some of the things that were happening in that very volume.
Hmm.
Amazing, just amazing stuff. But when you go in here, uh, the way and this is very familiar material in some ways, but then reformatted more for maybe modern sensibilities a little bit. Um, one of those is one of those things is in the original Transformers like premise. The Transformers crash land on Earth like 4 million years ago.
Yeah.
They're not in this volume. In this volume, it is a heck of a lot closer. I mean, so which I kind of appreciate that. I was like, oh, hey, this is neat because now you don't have to like it's a few hundred years maybe. I mean, there might be some more nuances to it. Hopefully, they don't get too far in the weeds with that. But it does tie in to what we see, at least far as I can tell, in Void Rivals, where we run into Jetfire, or I think it's Skyfire. I think actually Jetfire.
Jetfire. Yeah, it's like
Jetfire.
that was one that was
Mhm.
one thing I liked about this volume in the sense that like the if you've read Void Rivals, you see that like it was like the aliens who like like awakened Jetfire. It's like and then he realizes like oh my god, I got someplace to be. Like he just jets out, and then you see that like picked up here. It's like and he like the gets the arc going or was it the terraform? It's like the Terra arc or
Oh,
Teletran. That's what it was.
Teletran, right.
Yeah,
The
he
mainframe
get
computer of the Ark, yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's not what that's not. I mean, you could have just accepted that. Oh, okay, this is like he's just like showing up to get the story started. But if you've read Void Rivals, you realize oh okay, I see how it's connected here. It's like and like to see Jetfire like show up and just get Teletran 1, started reconstructing all the Autobots and Decepticons. It's like that's like a nice bit of like content. It's a nice use of continuity in the sense that you don't need to have read Void Rivals to have gotten this, but it adds like an extra bit of context here that's appreciated. Because
Yeah.
because basically like like when we start off with like this volume, it's basically like all about Spike. Like Spike Wiki just like angsting about his dad, like like, hey, like your dad, you're a drunk, you're not doing anything. Like I'm going to go out to California, like later to become an astronaut. It's like then like getting getting to know Carla. It's like what's
Carly.
Carly, yes, Carly. It's like and then there's finding all the Transformers and second the mountain, like with Teletran 1, the arc. It's like it starts off pretty straightforward right there, but it's like but like the context of like Void Rivals is appreciated, especially when like Jetfire's like kind of like, oh, Starscream's like hey, how you doing? It's like Starscream's like, yeah, it's like I get you, like it's like, and then he just like shoots Bumblebee's like like still corpse in the face, and it's like what are you doing? It's like and like Starscream's like, hey, I'm taking out all our antagonists right now. Like, what are you getting at right here? It's like it's nice to see that right there. It's like, and also just what happens with it's like with Jetfire later on, because okay, I guess we should probably mention that we're going full spoilers here, right, John?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So because like Starscream just like shoots Jetfire in the gut, and he's like, and even though like he's trying to like do the right thing, like in terms of like just to make sure everyone gets like resurrected, like Starscream does not see like want that to happen. It's like, and on one hand that makes him a good villain. In fact, he's a really solid antagonist for this first volume. And so that he manages like the whole like arrogant and whiny voice that you remember from the it's like from the cartoon. It's like, and also just being like really vicious as well. Such as when he finds out that like, hey, these humans on the planet, they're really squishy. That's really clever. It's like, and it's like subtly horrifying for the story as well. But also just when you see like 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 Optimus Prime just get resurrected and try to fight off the like the Decepticons like Teletran 1. It's really managed as well, because Prime is like established as like the straightforward, heroic character, because like even though like Starscream is just like hey, he's like I can squish all these people. Prime is like when he finds out that oh, I sipped on a deer, that's awful. It's like he's like it's a good way of establishing like their like the general idea of like who's the good guys, who the bad guys are, even if you've never ever read a Transformers comic before. And I
Yeah,
think that's pretty solid right there.
it is solid. And not out of character either.
Yeah.
So if you understand Optimus Prime outside of the movies, please, not the movies. But in his character is preserved here. It's in this volume, you don't have any contradictions in his character at all. It's that is the Prime. That's the Generation 1 Prime that people know, and that's the one. And I have to say, it varies from the movie one, because the movie one is not the same in terms of temperament and other things. Yeah, so it's good. You know that he's an established leader, and he does talk about like I said, he talks about like the succession of primes, and that's a concept that has been carried forth through other media outside of the Generation 1 cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's possibly more fleshed out in the previous comics, but that's good. It's not elaborated on a lot. It's just more like, hey, here's how it is. I mean, heck, you even get the Matrix in this, right? Like the Matrix of leadership.
Yeah,
And
it's like, and like
you
this, like
Mhm.
the first drawing is this kind of like a really big action movie in the sense that it's like, hey, like we're introducing like the Transformer the Autobots, the Decepticons, it's like, and we're just like, have them like go at it. It's like, and like also a lot of like the familiar concepts as well, like the Matrix racial leadership, which it's like, I guess it's like an interesting like like use of it here because like it's positioned as kind of like as a healing and like resurrecting kind of device here because Prime is shown like using it to like repower a hospital that was like that was like that was treating Spike after they brought him to it. It's like, and like Ratchet like gives him crap because like hey, this is like the Matrix like draws itself from your power. It's like you're it's like like sacrificing like your power like to like save these people who are just like kind of crazy and like violent. It's like, and like Prime is like like I no I understand, but like there's been like enough like violence and death here. It's like I want to like you know stop that, but also it's like it seems like the Matrix can also be powered by like sacrifice as well, as we'll see later on, because like the like one what like while the like the initial conflict is between like the like Autobots and Decepticons like on Teletran 1, the Ark, like the Autobots have to like decamp, like have to like escape in order to like try and like like reground themselves and like in order to fight back, and then the Decepticons like trying to like find like enough Energon in order to like rebuild themselves. It's a fairly standard plot, and there's nothing out of the ordinary like in terms of like like the conflict here. But what I liked about this volume like was the details that it offered. I mean, like you get like Starscream just bitching about, oh, it's like I've been like 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 wounded by by this fighting here, but oh, I've got to go out and like save all the other Decepticons because it's like I'm the only one who's got like enough energon to do it. And when everyone reminds themselves, but this is what Megatron would have said. Oh, shut your mouth, god damn it! That's really fun, right there. Just like just seeing it, like the bits like that, acknowledge that. Oh, hey, wait, this is what Megatron would have done, but the Starscream is like the only major Decepticon here, but Megatron he's not in this story, but he's like a major presence, like throughout. Especially when we find out that Optimus Prime like, has got his like arm cannon, and that was pretty rad right there. Especially when because like that's when it goes to like the details here when you find out that like, oh, Megatron's not here, but no, his arm cannon is, and even though like there's some like questionability, about Optimus going, no, I don't necessarily want to do this, but then when he finds out that okay, we've got this is like our main goal, like our whatever else are we going to do here? It's like he basically says like hey, like are we going to go ahead and fight them now? And he's got Megatron's cannon. That was pretty rad. At least
Yeah.
He's like as far as like me, as far as like a filthy casual Transformers fan. John, I guess your mileage might have varied.
No, I thought it was an interesting concept to throw into this because it's not it is something we've kind of seen before,
Oh,
but it's well, not really. We've seen other Autobots pick up. Now when you say arm cannon, see, most people think of the thing that sits on his arm.
mm-hmm.
We're literally talking about Megatron's arm with the cannon. That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. And there is, and the thing that's kind of I haven't seen before, and might have been in the other ones, but it's something that I'm noticing that's kind of a new element to me, at least, is the fact that Cybertronian technology can be used. Like they make a point of it, or he makes a point of it. Cybertronian technology can help us, with other parts of us healing. So he looks at it like he has the Megatron arm cannon, as we find out later in the volume. That's all he has. So, and they have it in some, they have it in storage or something. They brought it with them as part of the thing, and and the reason why we know this is we get a shot of Megatron, and it's like he's missing his arm, and
Mhm.
it's somewhere where there's a lot of snow in Arctic, which is kind of a callback to. I believe that's a callback to the movie, actually. That's a movie callback where Megatron was frozen in ice. So he was
Huh.
like, so see another thing where it's like they've kind of done that, but this whole and then so and then this whole element where Megatron's arm and his cannon is being used, like he's like, okay, it's like sew it on because I'm just gonna use it to defeat the Decepticon. Okay, like, all right, sure, you know. But that's not the only time that this is referenced in this volume. I'm not gonna give the rest of it away. I think that's a pretty big one, but there's some other, there the as you were talking about the Energon thing, there's a deficit going on here, and
Mhm.
that's not new where Decepticons are looking for Energon. But there's a clear, like, it's not just like he's like, hey, let's go and get the energy from here or there. It's like, well, this is something that we need to account for in order for us to it's like playing chess against somebody and you're missing half of your pieces. Like they're gone, right?
Yeah,
So
it's like the
you
whole
have
energy deficit is like it's played as a big thing in this volume.
exactly. So you have to, so each side is trying to vie not only for the Energon to heal their troops, but they're also trying to it's like a fight of resources almost. And so it's neat to see in this volume. And I
Yeah,
can't
it's a
say
struggle, it's like not
yeah,
neither
it's a
side
weird
has a definite advantage over the
yes,
other.
that's correct. Good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mean, like even when it's like the Autobots, they leverage like the power like provided by the dam in order to resurrect their forces. Like like then like Optimus says like, okay, we're gonna go and like take out the Decepticons right now, and then they do that, and then holy shit, they run right into Devastator. So that's it's like yeah, it's a nice such like struggle on both sides right here, and like I really appreciated that like that over the course of the volume. It's like everyone like is struggling here, like the Autobots, the Decepticons, and the humans. I mean, even like when the humans, just like Spike's dad, like Sparky, is like he's like a like just looks and goes like, oh my god, it's like we're in the middle of a war right here. It's like we need to take out everyone. It's like and he's just like and he'll just like he shoots like Cliff Jumper in the face with a shotgun. It's like because he's like hey like these I don't know what's going on here, but these people are like just bad news, and then you got like Skywarp like coming in. It's like and like Skywarp's fate right here is like really that's something also I like in this song as well because like I said, it's all about the details. It's like and then when he's when okay, it was like when at one point when like like when Optimus Prime like he's busts out his like energy axe to like try and like take out Skywarp, like the humans like shoot him in the arm, and like hey, it's like this is like like these robots are just like manifesting new abilities because we can't have that, and then like Prime just rips off his arm and just beats the hell out of Skywarp with it, and it's like damn, it's like that is crazy. It's like and yeah, it's like even if like the whole conflict is like fairly predictable in terms of like everyone like fighting against each other like it's a like seeing like Prime just bust out his arm, rip off his arm just to take out Skywarp. Like that was rad as hell. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was.
and I got me. It's like like I don't think like Void Rivals was bad, but it didn't have something like this.
Yeah.
Especially
Um,
when and then when you find out what happens to Skywarp afterwards, like
yeah.
shit, man.
And one of the things I'd highlight here, and I think it's kind of refreshing, is and I know probably the IDW comics did this, but I can't be for sure. Damage and kinetic damage is a thing here. Okay. So
Mm, yeah,
when you watch the cartoon, you're watching something that was kind of like, oh, you got shot, but then you don't see the art in this like completely shows this. Like
yeah.
there's
When
it's
Prime transforms, like after he's been damaged, after he rips off his arm, and then he transforms, like that's a thing. Like you see that he's really beat up like in his convoy form.
Yep. But also that the humans' weapons that are fired against Optimus Prime cause real damage to Optimus Prime. Okay.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, well, we're Cybertronian and your weapons are no, they cause real damage.
yeah. It's
They're
like
can
actual explosive weapons
yes.
cause damage.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It was like, okay, oh wow, that you shouldn't have done that. And that's how this is a spoiler, that's how Spike gets hurt because
Yeah,
they're
it's like
opening fire on Optimus Prime. He's like trying to stop it and he gets shot. So that's
yeah.
the
It's like
problem.
I thought
He gets caught
we were
behind
getting
the
like like
fire.
oh we were gonna get like like a dead dad here. It's like from this bit, but oh well we do get that, but it's in a completely different way than I was expecting, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. And we even have the military fighter jet chasing after Starscream.
Oh
And
yeah,
that is we get another breadcrumb there. We get a
yes.
GI Joe breadcrumb here.
Yeah, and that was I appreciated that because like once the it's like once Starscream like like batted the like the jet out of the way, it's like and then took out the like the pilot, and then like he was gonna take out the other one. It's like the other pilot busted out this this like jetpack stuff. It's like, oh wow, that's like GI Joe tech. And it basically is because it turns out that the co-pilot in that plane was Duke.
Correct.
So I mean, and I gotta admit that, seeing that right there is like, oh wow. So I'm like, I admit that I like the first two like GI Joe miniseries are written by Joshua Williamson, a guy who I think he doesn't really do a lot of stuff to like really impress me, but this bit right here does make me kind of interested to see like how does this play out in the Duke miniseries.
Yeah. And,
You
and
know,
like I said, it's a breadcrumb. That's all
yes,
we really get with it, but it's
yeah.
fine. It's
Like
good.
if you
But
know, you know.
yeah, right. But with respect to the artwork, the way everything kind of the characters, especially Optimus Prime, Starscream, the way you see them, Spike and Carly, which by the way, that's kind of a different dynamic too.
Hmm.
Carly does not come into the picture until later. She's up front here. And for obvious reasons, actually, there's a reason why. And it's cool. And I dig that a lot. And I also I think that, the artwork in here is definitely I like it. I really do. I think that it's it kind of
It has a real kinetic energy to it. Like basically,
that's
when you
it.
see when people get hit like, in Johnson's art, you feel it. Like you look at them and see like, oh my god, like this fucking hurt, man. It's
Yeah.
like, and that's one of the things like one of the things why I wanted like like to check this out because like Johnson is I think one of like the best on current artists we've got going. It's like when he just like has someone like 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 fight like you feel it. It's like when you see like someone like getting thrown across like like a ridge. It's like it hurts when you
Yep.
see Prime just like run into someone like run into the Skywarp specifically. It's like,
Yeah.
what is it, Skywarp or Starscream? Or both, really. It's like
Skywarp. He had a really good battle with Skywarp.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
And
and then
Starscream too, by the way, so that no, I digress. Both are true here.
yeah, it's like, and then when like when he also just takes on Devastator at the end of the volume, and god
Yeah.
damn, it's like that's like a crazy ass fight as well. It's like, and like I said, Johnson like does a really good job of selling all this stuff here. It's like I'm not sure if I'd be as invested like in the story if he hadn't just without his has like his artistic skill right here because it's like because like while I love like a lot of the stuff he's done like over the years, it's like he's I would say that like he's like it's his art that's a good job in terms of like bridging like the stuff that he's selling like in terms of storytelling like with specifically with Murder Falcon when his like his big heavy metal imagery It's like, some of it may have just seemed silly when they're talking about, like, when the characters are talking about how it's shown, but then when you see like how he does it, like in the page, it works, and that's absolutely true here. This is why I love him, and this is why it's like I want to devote an entire podcast just talking about just how good his Transformers like work here is. I mean, yes, the storytelling doesn't do any like big changes or like like different like like stuff that you've heard from like previous Transformers stuff, but the detail to it is like like Starscream and Soundwave, like turning Skywarp into a like thing into like in order to facilitate like the resurrection of more like Decepticons in Teletran 1, or like RC just like transforming into like shooting up like the dam in order to save Carly. Like that stuff is brilliant and just like
Yeah.
really impressive on a visual scale.
I love the line that she said there too. It was like something to the effect of like, well, it's important to Prime, it's important to me. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, because they're I mean, like, aren't they kind of like an item like Prime and
No.
RC?
Well, Prime and RC are not generally an item, so no.
Okay.
It's Prime and Elita 1, but we don't see Elita 1 here. So RC is yeah. So unless, like I said, those could be different things. And by the way, I'd have to say this, right? So the arc, the Autobot arc, where all of them were crash landed. This is a familiar premise, right?
Yeah.
For them, they crash land. The unfamiliar part is that the Decepticons take control of it and kick the Autobots out. Essentially, like that they have to retreat out from the place that you most associate, right? In Transformers lore, the Autobots right to the like that's where they stay. That's their headquarters. The fact that they take it over and they're holding on to it is kind of a pretty amazing thing because I say amazing what I really mean is like, okay, there's another instance of it's just kind of like, okay, he's changing the facts a little bit
Hmm.
to set you a bit off balance of what you should expect, right? Like the thing to expect. Okay, Autobots victorious and kicking the Decepticons out of the arc. Not this time.
Wait, but didn't they didn't the volume end with like the Constructicons like wheeling like Starscream out of the arc?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
But that's not how, like I said, that's not where they started though, right? So
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's like that's what I mean. And usually that's how it is. Like Decepticons just leave the arc like I'll say it in the original cartoon. Um the it's kind of weird. Teletran 1 revives the Decepticons first, he repairs them. Then they use Teletran 1 to heal the rest of the Decepticons and just leave the Autobots in ruin and just take off and leave the arc. They're like,
Mm,
and then they go
okay.
find another place to build their base of operations. That would have been playing it safe, right against the line. But he doesn't do that his time. Now, if they do at the end of the volume, they do take it back. Not without some struggle and sacrifice.
Hmm.
And that's kind of cool. I like that. I think that that's a neat way of doing it. It's like, oh, okay. And the situation feels dire, right? Like, okay. And that there's some analogies to that with another Transformers animation series, one called Prime, where um there's not very many of them. There's like maybe 5 Autobots on Earth. So
Mm,
yeah, it's kind of an
okay.
interesting thing. And so, but I think they have a lot more resources at the disposal than this set of Autobots. But regardless, impressive. My overall impression of this is that it's a refreshing reorganization of certain elements and also it's not shy on doing the things that you were talking about, um showing the battles that are in here are pretty good. I'll have to admit, I mean, I'm like, I was kind of holding on. I was like, ooh, hey, check that out, and check out how this action is being drawn on the page. It's pretty good, and then kind of the struggles that they're going through and the emotions of Optimus Prime versus the emotions of Starscream, right? No Megatron in this volume, really, not really.
Yeah, he's in a Cobra Commander's basement right now.
Yeah. So right now, not so much, but it is highlighting that whole conflict and the introduction of the humans, and it's just yeah, I enjoyed reading this volume, Jason. It was quite refreshing, and I'm kind of interested to see how they go, right? So
Yeah, this had a lot of energy that I felt that like Void Rivals was lacking. I mean, like I don't think
oh
Void
yeah,
Rivals was bad, but I mean
no,
like Johnson shows that he's one of like that even like he's not like a like like one of the best dialogue writers around. It's like he just is great when it comes to like depicting like action on the page. It's like and it that just like really like comes through here. It's like in any like conflict between the Autobots and the Decepticons here. It's like I mean just it's like yeah, it's like I said, it's not like innovative storytelling, just like guys saying like, oh like I was like this is what I was expecting to see, but just a lot of the details here like were really like interesting. It's like entertaining to see on the page. It's like and even though it's like he's not illustrating the next arc, Jorge Corona is, but I really want to see where things are going from here, like because this there's like a lot of energy in this. It's like in this particular volume. It's like and it's like does a good job of like energizing like if like a familiar conflict. It's like and it's like and yeah, it's like and like the whole and he does a good job like portraying the like the various like Autobots and Decepticons here. It's like, he's just portraying like primes like Optimus Prime's like inherent like decency and I'm going to do like what's best for everyone. Not just the like not just my fellow Autobots and also like Starscream's just like like arrogance and like general insecurity like as well. It's like that. It's like I said, I like a storyline where like the villains like struggle as well as the humans. Where you're not just like getting like oh my god, like the bad guys have to like succeed because the storyline demands it. But there's like a lot of struggle here. It's like on both sides, and I really appreciated that. It's like
yeah.
and
You-
this first volume like really communicated that like on both sides, like in the writing and like and the art. It was a
yeah,
lot of fun. It's like and like is it like the storyline to like, get people who are like not interested in like Transformers or GI Joe invested in it? Well, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but that being said, there's only one volume you need to pick up right now, and hey, maybe just go ahead and check it out to see if it's for you, and that's something I can endorse right there.
yep. Yep, and I would say the same. I think I've given a lot of my comments already on this one. I think that anybody who is a Transformers fan, will enjoy this.
You've probably already read a lot of Transformers volume one, like at this point. But
Yeah,
I'm saying like this is probably like, maybe give this one a shot too. I guess.
and I would say the execution of this is pretty good. And I've watched a lot of firsts. Okay,
Hmm.
for lack of a better word, like first this for like Transformers Prime first movie, just trying to reinvent that whole concept. And, and of course, being an original OG fan, I'd say, yeah, looking at this, I'm like, whoa, it's got some real nice teeth to it, so to speak.
Yeah.
And and that's good. I love you know, that it's not clean. I think that it's meant to be what it is, and I'm excited to kind of see how it goes. And for those that have fallen in love with the IDW over the years, I just say give this a chance because I think that this is worth it. Um, and while I do respect that story and those storylines, I think that this one's got plenty of potential and it's off to a strong start. So it definitely a recommend from me, right?
Yeah, it's like Danny Warren Johnson's like, art, it's like art just, gets me going. It's like, and I really want to see what he does next, even if it's like, with like another artist, Jorge Corona, who's also pretty talented in himself.
All right, cool. Do you know what you're gonna be talking about next time?
Yeah. So, what happens when a comic book series that was, discontinued for years finally gets a continuation? And does anyone really care about it? That's what I'm going to talk about when I give my thoughts on Miracle Man: The Silver Age by Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham. So
All right,
we'll see how that goes.
all right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Clicks by the Glick.
All right, there's everyone.